Frame rate supersonic. I don't need no bloom. Nope. I don't need no flickering. I don't want no blur. You can keep your salary. God. I'm a frame rate junkie. What? I'm a frame rate junkie. I'm a frame rate junkie. And I like it silky.
Welcome back to another episode of KOS-Plays Classic Games. I'm your host KOS. My co-host Ann will be joining us soon. Today we're going to revisit the 90s once more to look at a game that started a phenomenon. This time we leave the tournaments of combat behind as we take a trip to Japan. Capcom was the king of the fighting game genre, having popularized it in 1991 with the highly successful Street Fighter II.
Damn revenue agents. Sorry I'm late. Oh, are we on? Okay, so Xmen vs Street Fighter. Yes, my notes. This success would lead to Capcom creating two well-received fighting games featuring the Xmen in Xmen, Children of the Atom and Marvel superheroes. This deal would lead to the crossover no one knew they wanted.
Here you go!
Xmen vs Street Fighter!
Xmen vs Street Fighter features gameplay and mechanics similar to that of the mainline Street Fighter franchise. This is mixed in with elements from X-Men, Children of the Atom, and Marvel superheroes, such as flashy super moves like this.
Xmen vs Street Fighter is a 2D fighting game released in arcades in 1996. As the first installment in the Marvel vs Capcom series, it stands as the first big hit in crossover fighting games. Examples of these games are Nintendo's Super Smash Bros. And SNK's King of Fighters.
Though technically SNK had beat Capcom to the proverbial Dragon Punch by 2 years, it was the appeal of Marvel's X-Men fighting the street fighting game from Capcom that made it more marketable. The roster for X-Men vs Street Fighter was nothing to scoff at either, with fan favorite Street Fighters such as Ryu, Ken, Chun-Li, and M. Bison versus an assortment of mutants from the likes of Wolverine, Cyclops, Storm, and Magneto. The designs of the X-Men were based off the uber popular animated TV series, X-Men the Animated Series. Yeah, that one.
The Street Fighters were based on their Street Fighter Alpha series appearances. This series acted as a prequel to the main Street Fighter games. XM vs SF had 17 playable characters in 2-on-2 battles, making it the debut of Capcom vs series style of gameplay.
The game was listed in Japan by Game Machine as being the most successful arcade game of the year in 1996. Here in the States, Xmen vs Street Fighter was only slightly popular upon first release, but after a few months, it became a huge hit with fans. As for ports, the Sega Saturn version of Xmen vs Street Fighter was the superior version when compared to the PlayStation version. Reviewers such as Game Informer praised it for its animation, fast-paced style, and sound design, saying the Saturn port is one of the best arcade conversions ever seen to date. The PlayStation version, on the other hand, was lambasted for its various changes to the game. This included the removal of tag battles and low frame rate.
Low frame rate. We don't do low frame rates in this here establishment. Listen to the opening theme again, you noobs.
Next Generation magazine will give the port a 1 out of 5, stating that if you haven't played a Capcom game, it would entertain for a bit, but not a single positive thing could be said for the trade-off that Capcom made to get this game to run properly on the PlayStation.
A follow-up would be released in June 1997 titled Marvel Superheroes vs Street Fighter.
Are you ready, true believers? Capcom and Marvel have joined forces once again to bring you it's Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter! Look! Spectacular action! Don't miss out on the enjoyment of a lifetime! Feel sensational thrills! Don't miss the most amazing tag team fighting game ever! Are you ready for a new challenger? Let's rock! Come join Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter!
Fighter in the game, many of the X-Men cast were replaced by other Marvel characters such as Spider-Man and Captain America. This game would also be ported to both the Saturn and PlayStation. The PlayStation version was still the worst version due to hardware limitations.
After Capcom would allow the Marvel Universe to jump the Street Fighters, they would eventually even the playing field with Marvel vs. Capcom, Clash of Superheroes.
Marvel vs. Capcom! Come on! Marvel vs. Capcom!
This would add Capcom's other franchises to the fight, such as Mega Man and Morgan from Darkstalkers.
Marvel vs. Capcom franchise would go on to have 3 great games, with the last one being the beloved, in my opinion, Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. This title added characters like Deadpool, She-Hulk, and Aunt A to the roster.
Yes. Wait, 3 games? What about Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite?
We don't talk about that mess in this establishment, KOS. I told you the 3 rules are no low frame rates, no Aura Season 4 talk, and no discussing Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. I am still haunted by the faces.
Well, I will remember that. Well, that's our show for today, folks. If you are new to KOS-Plays classic games, leave a like and subscribe.
KOS, I think we should move on from fighting games for now, and I think we can handle something with more of a story to tell. What is that bloody sound?
I don't know. It's that earpiece I had in my ear when I woke up in your bar a couple weeks ago. Should I answer it?
No, let the damn thing ring forever till Ragnarok starts. I'll answer. And Bonnie and KOS, and who the hell might you be?
This is Snake.